That scream you heard last night? The one that sounded almost human. The one that made you sit up in bed for a second, heart pounding, wondering what was wrong. That was a peacock. That scream that scared you? It wasn't random. It meant something. And there's a good chance it was meant for you. Peacocks don't make noise just to make noise. Every call is specific. A threat, a signal, a question, sometimes a goodbye, and one of them isn't even a sound at all. It's a silence so sudden it's more frightening than any scream. Subscribe to Garden Wildlife. Mind if you're new here. Stay until Chapter 3. That one explains the single creepiest thing a peacock can do, and it makes no sound at all. Chapter 1. The scream that sounds like help. You've probably heard it even if you've never seen a peacock in your life. That loud, sharp scream, almost like a person yelling for help, cutting through a neighborhood late at night. People have called the police because of this sound. Real calls, real reports of someone in danger. Every time it turns out to be a peacock standing on a roof or a fence, completely fine. Why does it sound so human? It comes down to pitch. Peacock calls happen to land in roughly the same frequency range as a human voice in distress, so your brain reacts before you've even had time to think about it. The same instinct that makes a baby's cry impossible to ignore. Peacocks just happen to land in that range by accident. This call is known as the ka-wow. Males use it mainly during breeding season, and it does two jobs at once. It tells females nearby that he's available. It tells every other male in range that this space is taken. So the sound that makes your skin crawl is closer to a peacock standing on a roof shouting, "I'm here, and I'm strong. Not pain, not fear." A loud, proud broadcast. But the exact same call, in a different situation, changes meaning completely. Chapter 2. When the scream becomes a warning. Here's what surprises almost everyone the first time they hear it. That same scream isn't only for attracting a mate. Peacocks use a faster, more repetitive version of it when they spot something dangerous. A fox in the bushes, a dog getting too close, a person walking somewhere the bird didn't expect. Researchers studying peafowl found the alert version of the call has a slightly different rhythm than the mating version, and other peacocks nearby can tell the difference almost instantly. When one bird sounds it, every other peacock in range goes still, alert, scanning the area. This means, if you've ever walked near a peacock and suddenly heard it cry out, there's a real chance it wasn't broadcasting to a mate at all. It was alerting every bird around about you. An animal noticed you, judged you as a possible threat, and told its entire group using a signal built specifically to spread that information fast. You probably didn't do anything wrong. You likely just got too close, moved too quickly, or appeared somewhere unexpected. But the peacock reacted like it mattered, like you mattered enough to flag to the whole flock. What's strange is how little it takes to trigger this. A bird's threshold can shift depending on recent encounters. One that's had a close call with a dog recently may sound the alarm at far smaller disturbances than one that hasn't been bothered in weeks. The call isn't just reactive. It's shaped by memory. You're just walking through a garden, and somewhere above you, a bird has already decided you're worth raising the alarm about. And that's not even the part that should actually worry you. Chapter 3. The silence. That means something is already wrong. This is the one. The sound that isn't actually a sound at all. If you've ever spent real time near a peacock flock, you'd notice something most people never think to pay attention to. Peacocks are almost never fully quiet. There's usually some low background noise, soft clucks, the occasional honk, small signals meaning everything is normal. Then, every now and then, that background noise just stops completely. All at once. Imagine standing in a garden full of peacocks calling and clucking like any other afternoon. You're not paying much attention to it, the way you don't notice traffic noise until it's gone. Then, without warning, every single bird goes dead silent at the exact same moment. No call, no cluck, nothing. Researchers who've spent long hours observing wild and semi-wild peafowl have documented this pattern repeatedly. A sudden, total silence across an entire group right before something happens. A predator that hasn't been spotted yet, but has somehow already been sensed. A threat close enough that calling out would be more dangerous than staying quiet. Birds in general often go silent before serious danger because noise at the wrong moment gives away exactly where they're hiding. For peacocks, the absence of sound becomes the loudest warning they have. If the calling stops all at once, something has likely already triggered every bird in that group to freeze together at the same instant without a single visible signal passing between them. That silence means they already know something you don't. So if you're ever standing near peacocks and the noise just cuts out, don't assume everything calmed down. It might mean the opposite. It might mean every bird around you just decided this moment is too serious for even a warning call. And if that's true, whatever triggered it is still out there, somewhere you haven't looked yet. Chapter 4. 10 feet apart, neither one moving. 2 male peacocks. 10 feet apart, neither one moving. Before any feathers fan out, before any real fighting starts, there's a sound that comes first. A low, growl-like rumble, deep in the chest, repeated again and again. Quieter than the scream, it doesn't carry far. But up close, it's unmistakable. The rumble grows. Both birds hold their ground, rumbling back and forth like they're arguing in a language made entirely of vibration. Neither one breaks eye contact. Then one of two things happens. One bird backs off, or the fight actually starts. Researchers who've observed these standoffs describe the rumble as almost always coming right before a physical confrontation, a last verbal challenge before things turn physical. And most of the time, the rumble alone settles it. One peacock decides the fight isn't worth it and walks away. No feathers lost, no energy wasted, no risk taken by either bird. What makes the rumble effective is that it carries real information. Researchers believe the depth and steadiness of the sound gives away details about the size and condition of the bird making it, the same way a deeper voice can make a person sound larger or more imposing without them doing anything else. A weaker or younger bird often can't sustain the rumble as long or as low, and the other male can apparently tell. In a strange way, the sound itself settles the fight before any feathers are ever involved, because both birds can already estimate who would win. It's a strange kind of negotiation when you think about it. Two animals, standing close, deciding who stays and who leaves, using nothing but a low sound in the chest, never once touching, never once breaking that locked stare. Most people will never get close enough to hear this one in person, but it's happening in territories everywhere far more often than anyone realizes, settled entirely through sound before it ever becomes a fight. Chapter 5. The honk that keeps the group together. Here's a sound you might have heard before without ever knowing what it was for. A shorter, sharper honk, repeated a few times, usually heard when peacocks move as a group. Researchers studying flock behavior have linked it to movement coordination. The birds use it to keep everyone together while traveling between feeding spots or heading back to roost as evening sets in. Basically, it's a peacock saying, "This way, stay close," in real time. Peafowl aren't just scattered, wandering with no structure. Groups built around one dominant male and several females travel with real coordination, and the honking keeps stragglers from falling behind as they cross open ground where they're more exposed. It's a simple, practical signal compared to the drama of the scream, but it shows something the scream alone never could. These birds aren't only reacting to danger or broadcasting to mates, they're coordinating, managing a group, making small decisions together, using sound as the thing that holds it all together. Chapter 6. The sound only babies get to hear. Not every peacock sound is loud or unsettling. Some are so quiet you'd never notice unless you were standing right there. Mother peahens use a soft clucking signal to communicate with their chicks from the moment they hatch. Not a warning, not territorial, closer to a constant, gentle check-in, repeated all day. Researchers who've recorded these sounds describe them as low and rhythmic, almost like a quiet humming that barely stops while the chicks are still small. The chicks respond to it in a way that's genuinely remarkable. If the mother's clucking changes even slightly, sharper, faster, the chicks freeze instantly and hold still until she signals it's safe again. They've learned to read her tone before they understand anything else about the world around them. This kind of close, constant communication isn't unique to peacocks, But the contrast is what makes it stand out here. A mother and her chicks stay connected through sound alone for weeks, long before the chicks can fly, long before they can defend themselves in any other way. The clucking is, in a sense, the only thing keeping a vulnerable family together in the open. There's something else researchers have noticed. Chicks raised by particularly attentive mothers, ones with a wider range of distinct clucking sounds, tend to respond faster and more accurately to danger later in life. The early days of listening closely to that voice may shape how well a chick learns to read warning signals as an adult. In a small way, the soft sound in this chapter and the screams in Chapter 1 might be more connected than they first appear. One may be where the other begins. This is the side of peacocks almost nobody talks about. The same bird capable of a scream that fools police dispatchers, the same bird that can go completely silent before danger, also has this entire other voice, soft, patient, built around keeping a few small, defenseless chicks close and calm. It's strange to think the animal from Chapter 1 and the animal in this chapter are the same species. But that range is exactly what makes peacocks more layered than most people ever give them credit for. Chapter 7. What you're actually hearing now. Every sound has a purpose. Even the silence does. So the next time a peacock calls anywhere near you, here's what you're actually listening to. A scream that might be a mating call, or might be a signal about you specifically. Total silence that means the birds already know something you don't. A low rumble settling an argument before it turns physical. A sharp honk keeping a whole group moving safely. And a soft cluck that's a mother keeping her chicks calm. None of it is random. You're not just hearing noise anymore. You're listening in on a conversation that's been happening this entire time, right outside your window. You just didn't have the translation. The next time you hear that scream in the middle of the night, you'll know exactly what it is. Not someone in trouble. A bird with something to say, using a voice built for exactly this moment. Tell me in the comments if you've ever heard a peacock scream and thought something was actually wrong. I read every single one. I'll see you in the next one.